Episode 7 The Yo-Yo Wizard 2019. Taylor motioned with her head towards the door. Luni and Taylor knelt, holding their coffee mugs while Miss Bailey stood at the counter stirring her pink travel mug excessively. She hummed, though that often turned into belting out high notes. The two girls were blocked from escaping. Yes, the door was open, the one with the no students at any time whatsoever sign on it. If it had been any other teacher, the two would have been able to sneak out, but not Miss Bailey, an English teacher of suspiciously heightened senses, the type of person who could spot a kid with a cell phone during a test from a parking lot away. The two slid back as she again checked around the room, twitching her nose. She has to know we are here, Luni had thought. I knew we were running too close to pumpkin season not to get caught. Miss Bailey froze, twisting in the direction where Luni and Taylor hid on the other side of a converted shop-room table. I sense I'm not alone, Miss Bailey said, returning to stirring her coffee. Taylor and Luni looked at each other. Like speaking a foreign language, they both understood each other. They had to get out. They ran. They stopped when the door slammed. Miss Bailey stepped between the exit and the girls with her travel mug. She took a sip and then nodded. I guess it is pumpkin spice season, she said. Well, looks like the English teacher caught the coffee bandits. How about that? Hello, Taylor. And you are? Just here to take out the trash, miss, Luni said. Miss Bailey smiled and tilted her head towards Taylor, giving an inquisitive look. Are you, Luni, I bet, also a West Coaster, like Taylor and I? Taylor shot her a sharp, hard look back. I've never been to the coast, but I hope I get to visit soon. Luni's eyes darted from side to side. She tried to hide a smile. She knows she'll go in the Whispers Bay with me, Taylor said with a straight face. I do know that, Miss Bailey said, with a finger on her lips. I know you two are going there after you spend every day after school helping me carry all the old textbooks to the garbage like I was instructed to. The garbage may or may not look like my car. Taylor and Luni sighed, then tipped their coffee mugs together. The consequences, said Luni, and detention. Taylor smiled. I'll happily spend detention with you. Together, even if someday apart. Together, Luni repeated, even if apart. Miss Bailey interrupted. Girls, I need you to stop right there. Getting a little mushy. Idaho's gonna ban you if you aren't careful. Come on, first round of book carrying the weights. Her voice got cheerful. Let's go. Why am I having so many flashbacks? Luni thought 5 years later she carried the statue down a dark tunnel that led outside at the Snufferclad Tower. I have to focus. I have to know where I am. I can't leave this little girl behind. We have to finish this. But, against her all, she felt herself slipping out of consciousness. Falling, she steadied herself on the rocky wall. She rested her head on Idis's statue. Eyes closed as she hugged on until sleep took her. The surrounding earth shook. Through the eyes of someone else, Luni saw hairy hands lifting a large captain's hat onto their head. Are you seriously going to wear that hat? A familiar voice said. You look like you've dressed up to make a fish stick commercial. Luni knew who it was. A young 18-year-old Liviana who, instead of a purple corset, wore fishnets on her hands and black slacks. The tiredness had disappeared from her eyes, and a youthful hope glimmered. Do you know who I am? The voice hissed out. Are these the memories of the High Wizard? Luni thought. Bob or something, Viviana scoffed while opening a brown paper sack. Doesn't seem important. The teenage boy snarled. Dozens of bells rang out from nearby. Viviana looked around, trying to find the source of the ringing. I am the mighty Ravana of Neferclyde Tower, he said. Viviana laughed loud and obnoxiously. You mean the kid who smells like cats all day? Sure, buddy. I told you not to call me buddy, he said. She shrugged. You're my buddy, Ravana of Neferclyde. Black cats with bells around their necks gathered. Each one dinged as they moved along towards Viviana. Ravana's eyes closed. Do not speak about my friends like that. Apologize. Viviana left her lunch and stood up, backing away. Still can't fight your own battles, I see. You gotta get help for everything you do. A black cat rubbed up against her leg. Barry is going to destroy you, Viviana said. He's the only one who cares about this town. I don't care, Ravana said. Please leave me alone. You know we can't. Not with what you are. She made a clicking sound with her mouth as she turned to slowly walk away. Daylight could be seen up a ladder that led to the outdoors. Luni still held on to Idas, dragging her stone remains. Her feet felt heavier with each step she took. I'm almost there, she thought, dragging her heels on the ground. She fought to keep moving. She gritted her teeth, trying to block out everything else except the task at hand, getting out, finding Taylor. But tiredness came over her. Is this a memory? She wondered. Or is this my reality? Can't keep everything I'm seeing together. What has this memory potion done to me? When is this gonna stop? Luni froze. Her eyelids remained stuck open as she lost consciousness. Who's a good girl? The high-pitched voice hissed. Yes, you are, my little favorite furball in all the universe. The cat let out a happy purr as it brushed up against the bearded face. The face pressed up against the cat's head. Do you know how lucky you are, little one? He said. Because when I'm around, I'm gonna look out for you, keep you entertained and loved all day, every single day for as long as we have together. The man sighed and stood up before pacing the floor of the garden section of the tower. The kitten spun in circles, enjoying the sunlight chasing its tail. What's hard, little pumpkin, is I might not always be here. Other people are always trying to bother me. Pay this, pay that, it's a holiday, so buy this. Oh hey, the mortgage on your castle is due to be paid now or else. The world out there doesn't understand what life we want. Left alone, without rules or things that are asked of me all the time. But the outside world, they can't have that. They must control everything. When I mean everything, I mean their time. They want to control how they live, their daily routine, everything. The kitty meowed. That's my sweet little pumpkin, the High Wizard said. If only you could understand. Someday might be a lifetime away from seeing you again. Any day now, it could happen. And Barry takes my place on this planet. And if that happens, who knows how long it could be before I see you again. I'm scared it's gonna happen. And you'll be here, alone. And there'll be nothing I can do about it. When that happens, my little one, please understand that I'm sorry I had to leave you. Luni felt a tug at her shoulders, followed by a slap of a paw. She realized she had fallen, and her head was lying on gravel and stone. A black cat tried to drag and paw at Luni, still holding the statue tight. "Is your name Pumpkin?" Luni asked the cat. The black cat crept to her face with a wide-eyed expression, as if it had not heard the name in a long time. The cat shook, letting the bell around its neck ring out once. Luni could see her reflection in the cat's eyes. Her own retinas looked cloudy and purple. The cat returned to her shoulder and prodded with its head, encouraging her to get up. It meowed. "He loved you," Luni told Pumpkin. "That's why you followed me to the castle. He's here." The cat seemed to understand, pushing harder against Luni's body. The truth tugged at her heartstrings. She looked at the creature, realizing how long it must have been since she last saw Ravana, her friend. Not some high wizard or evil shadow over Whisper's Bay, but a person with a heart for the living. "I may not see Taylor for an entire lifetime," Luni said. "I've found the rushing streams I can drink from, but I can't drink for long. Why must everything be like this? Always? Is there a way a soul bond can be removed, split? Can two people ever be separated once they've been yo-yo bonded?" The cat shook its body until its bell rang out twice. She stood, carrying Itis with her. The moment she reached up to touch the gray wooden ladder out of the tunnel, her present mind faded as she fell back onto the stone. "I'm so sorry, Kima, about your parents. I didn't get to tell you the depths of my sorrow before we last departed," Luni heard the voice in the memory say. Ocean waves crashed on the shore as Taylor looked down the sand. A gentle rumble roared as icy waters crashed into the towering rock formations. "It's been all right, I guess, living in New Mexico," Kima said, not answering the question. The man and teenage Taylor continued to walk across the pebbles and ponds of ocean water. She jumped, clearing the width of the water, causing her right foot to slam against a large stone. Instead of reacting in pain, she only stood, looking at her shoe. She turned to the High Wizard. "When I heard you returned, I got here as fast as I could. There's something I have to know. If I break this soul bond, could I live a normal life? Someday, with someone special. My dead shark. Away from this crazy world of pseudo-wizards or whatever we're calling ourselves now," she said, kicking off water from her white shoe. Luni felt the man in the memory shake his head. "There is no way to break a soul bond. Nothing free. The myth goes, one choice is to trade a soul for another. The new soul would be trapped and the other would be free of the yo-yo curse." "I've refused to hurt anyone," Taylor said. "That's the problem with curses," the man said. "You don't cast them on people as a Christmas present, or anyone you like, normally. We talked at great length about the ramifications of putting nasty curses on people, if it's a part of our tradition, magical heritage or not." Taylor put her hands on her head and looked out over the ocean. A wave crashed, sending a watery mist that hovered through the air. "I'm not sorry I bonded with Itis. Someday science might catch up and they might find a way to cure her, but why did I have to meet her after? That stupid candy corn loving dodgeball switcheroo con artist. I hate it. I didn't think I'd ever have a life again. 'Cause my parents and 'cause of this thing I'm a part of. It's a cruel curse," the man said. "It is only wished on one's worst enemy as a last resort. You did it to give a little girl more time amongst the living. Until someone can cure her of her illness, you have your time. That should not change for a long time. I won't be here for very long. Dick Nine's magic council is going to hunt me down at any moment. They want to send me back, but the next time someone gets him back and brings me back, I have a plan. They don't know where my high tower is. There I shall return and hide in secret until my soul outlasts the whole council. I'm sorry, I couldn't help you. You knew what you were getting into. Taylor flung a rock into the sea, deep in thought. I don't think I can ever see her again. How can I expect anyone to live a normal life with me? I can't put someone through that. Not even someone who sees me and wants to know everything about me, down to my preferred spicy Cheeto size with cheese sauce straight in the bag. I caught her measuring Cheetos with a ruler the other day. Luni felt the sensation of nodding, followed by that voice. Even kindness has a price. Yay, capitalism, am I right? Sometimes there is no right or wrong. There's just the consequences of a choice. (2019) Luni squealed with delight as tiny drops of water carried with the breeze hit her young skin. All the photographs and thoughts, and there it was, the place she had wanted to be, the person she had wanted to be with. Yes, they were both broke, and Taylor had to beg her grandfather pretty hard to get permission to drive that far. And yes, her grandparents thought she was with a dude, but they had done it, despite Luni's constant fears of getting annoying or letting her stupid show for too long. The two girls talked to the point of forgetting the radio was still playing in the background. Somehow, she had pulled it off and had not been left on the side of the road. Is this real? Do people live here for realsies? She shouted to Taylor, who slammed the door of the tiny blue Dodge Neon. With her hands outstretched, she rushed towards the Sullivan Beach access sign. In the distance, a kite flew high in the skies full of colors of the setting sun. Waves crashed and seagulls chirped. Luni tugged at her oversized plastic black raincoat. Taylor sighed but smiled. She had tried to tell Luni that in the Pacific Northwest it didn't rain every day, but for some reason Luni insisted on wearing a poncho all the time anyway. Can you yell I'm a tourist any louder? Taylor said, adjusting the fit around the cut-off jeans of her thighs. It's so big, Luni said, standing towards the sea where a sailboat journeyed across the waters. Let's get some stuff out, Taylor said, and get my uncle's cats fed, plants watered, and then I have some places I want to show you. But the ocean, it calls to me. Luni reached out with her hands as far as she could, as if she could pull the ocean towards her. It had been a very long drive from New Mexico, and even though she did not drive most of the way, if hardly any, her mind was that of a typical teenage girl, tired, goofy, and nonsensical. Both of their arms hurt from the dozens of overloaded boxes of books taken in Miss Bailey's car. Luni was afraid that she might never be able to lift anything heavy again. But the two had laughed most of the way up the southern side 101, exploring ways to have conversations without using words. They each learned that they knew about each other a lot more than they had expected, laughing hard while trying to keep the car in the road. Wait, this is where you used to live? Luni pointed to a mobile home on the other side of the beach access, on a grassy slope that overlooked the seaside. Taylor walked into the gate of a double-wide trailer filled with empty flower pots. She ran past the parking lot and into the Coastal Memories trailer park. This is your mobile home still, right? Yeah. Taylor mumbled as she unlocked the front door. Then he stopped. I walk in those doors with you. I am never leaving. What are you talking about? My uncle is back from his trip in 2 days. Stop being dramatic. You can't stay here forever. No, forever will have to be 2 days. If I'm staying here with you forever, then I mean it. I'm gonna do it, Luni said, reaching for her hand, knowing that Taylor knew what was coming, something they had talked about endless times. I can learn to be in whatever part of the world you're in. I don't know, wear overalls and a Freddie Mercury mustache and find a job as a plumber, working at a Save the Seals charity. I know I don't know nothing about your religious beliefs. I went to some vacation Bible schools. I had Mormon neighbors who brought us cakes and casseroles for no reason. They like to give hugs. It can't get any weirder than that. It gets much, much weirder than that, Luni. I promise you, if there is ever a way, I will find it, and I will take it, but I wish you would stop asking. Because it's a fact of my life that I cannot change. You had to get into this now, right here. You wouldn't believe me. Let me be your forever, Luni pled. Is that so much to ask? Tell me. And straight up, what is stopping us? What is stopping you? Taylor drew closer to Luni's surprise, pressed her forehead against hers. She took her face in her hands and spoke. Tears ran from her eyes. Sweet candy corn. Luni felt herself lean closer into her. You have done nothing but give pieces of yourself and everything I could ever need. Even when you are nothing, you fight the universe to give me even more. You are a rushing stream. I'm a puddle. But you're my petal, Luni said. Give something to yourself. Please, for me. I want forever. Whatever we are, but we can't. Someday I'll have to go. And I can't come back for a very long time. I can't give you what you need. And I hate that about myself. There's nothing we can do to change it. I'm bonded, destined to us. Forever has to be the memories we make together. No one can take those away. And that's why I wanted you here. Even though I stood to study my lines at the audition and all my classes, I needed you here. Once. Because I want that memory to live forever. Somewhere. Somehow. Luni backed away, took out her phone and scrolled through her contacts. Her shoes clicked on the vinyl floor as she headed to the bathroom. Bending down, she checked the cabinet. Taylor ran her hands through her hair as she followed Luni further into the house. What do I have to do? I have a cousin in Deming. He can do anything you need him to do. Don't ask which family he works for. How can I help you overcome this? Oh my God, please stop looking for bleach in the bathroom. No one can help me. Please, never hurt anyone for me, ever. Trust me. Let me have my forever. Right here. What do you want? In your forever, Luni asked, closing the cabinet and standing. Taylor smiled. For you to stop measuring my Cheetos? No, tell me. What do you want? Right now. Luni looked away. I'd like to invoke my Fifth Amendment privilege. You dork, Taylor said. Luni felt warm hands on her face. The sun shone from behind her eyelids as she regained control and stepped out of the memory. She knew that touch. Her eyes opened. She smiled at Taylor's strong jawline and soft face. My puddle, Luni said. My evil little cat-loving magic cult oathbreaker. I wish you understood how beautiful what you did was. You are a deep, loving puddle. But I don't want you to go. Taylor held Luni straighter, releasing her fingers' grip on the status vitus. The rest of the class ran when the castle started shaking. I went looking for you. Why do you have her? How did you get in there? I told you not to go. Luni grabbed her hand and squeezed tight. We don't have much time. I drank something to get out of the dungeon, and I have someone's memories inside my head, and I can't make them stop. Taylor's shoulders tensed. Please tell me you didn't drink the memory potion. Luni placed her left hand on her hip, making a fist. The cast floor shook. How long will I have these memories, these flashbacks? The flashbacks stop within 4 hours, Taylor said. The memories are forever. Those are your memories now. I was hoping we had more time before you knew Robobolo Popkus can cure her. I was gonna tell you. In a note in a hotel somewhere we had rented together after leaving this place. If you didn't still hate me. Never. Why is the universe always against us? Why can't we be whatever we need to be for each other? Luni said. I'll keep telling you until you understand, Taylor said, helping her stand, or make our own forever. We don't have a long time to do it, but there is one last thing I want to do with you before I go. Luni held Taylor's hand. Anything. Luni's mind was pulled from a long experience of frat boy wizards reciting hours of songs and poems, being laughed at by others as he spoke. Instead, Luni saw Taylor's eyes close to hers. I wanted to be with you, Taylor whispered, laying on her head on Luni's stomach under the tree. Under your favorite tree. It's the only thing I knew I could give to you. Luni shook her head. Tell me this isn't our last moment together. Not for always. For right now. For as long as Itis is alive. A lifetime or never. I gave you something that should stop the flashbacks. Until we had to drive Itis to the shop. I want these last moments here with you. Let's not lie here and pretend nothing else matters. Taylor leaned in and kissed Luni's forehead. Thank you. For being you. For trying to carry what you knew you could not carry. Luni shifted her boot closer to her feet, wrapping their legs together in what would look like a crazy pretzel to some people, but comfortable to them. A gentle breeze blew by, bringing a hint of evening cool. I don't know what I'm going to do without you. I just got you back. I hate that I'm losing you, Luni said. Taylor smiled. You could never lose me. They held hands, placing their fingers together. In the distance, a magic roar rang out. The two could see people forming lines on the sidewalks with pitchforks and burning torches. Burn the witches! The man shouted. Burn them all! Luni recognized the face of Mr. Whitaker. No, Luni said, still resting her head on Taylor's belly. Not now. I'm not ready. I'll never be ready, Taylor said. That's who we are. We can't let the council get to the creature before us. He has to heal Itis. Here. Taylor handed her a small leather bag. Don't open it until I'm gone. And for the love that is all that's good, don't drink it. Look inside of it. Luni squeezed her hand tighter. The two held on to the moment as long as they could, looking at each other. Until the dreaded word, the words that would mark their end. Taylor said, "It's time." A rare crack of thunder echoed through the bay. Tiny droplets of rain fell from the sky into the roof of the Not a Magic Tea Shop. Common people stood outside, confused at the increasing sounds of the ocean crashing on the stores below the 101. From within the shop, people sang with a group of tiny men dressed in white shirts and slacks who danced on their table. Half of the men drank tea, and the obvious side effects of magic could be spotted everywhere. A man crooned an operatic song in a female soprano voice. Squirrels and women from a bachelorette party played dice in the corner next to Grobobolo, who wore a smiling human mask. "Oh, hello, you two," Grobobolo yelled out at the side of Luni and Taylor, forcing their way inside into the counter. "I've kept the place running while you were gone. All the flowers are happy, so I had some extra time. Everyone is loving the shop so much, it makes me so happy." "Grobobolo, we need you to help someone, like you helped the dog before," Luni said. The front door shattered. Again. People screamed. Magic creatures made a mad dash out of the shop. Some hid under the tables. One man grabbed a large stick that was mounted to the wall. "Luni," the voice said. "Hello, Liviana Trentbath," Luni said. "Second place in Whispers Bay Homecoming Contest in 2005. You should have gone with the High Wizard. He was much nicer to you than Dick Nine." Liviana pushed her way through the crowded room. How would you know that?" Luni laughed. Something in the tone of her voice sent Liviana stumbling back over the sound of raindrops hitting the road and tiny bells ringing in the distance. "I know all," she said. "Dick Nine is not who he says he is. He's been trying to break his yo-yo bond using fights with Grobobolo to break free. But none of the sacrifices worked, because only a willing person can offer to break such a powerful bond. Like a person trapped in a boot, lost at the bottom of the ocean." "Dick Nine would never," Liviana said, pulling out her gar. "He loved me. Why? How could you do it? How could you destroy him? Stand aside before this creature gets out of control. Dick Nine locked it away for a reason, and you morons let it out to serve coffee." "Sorry, we're out again," Grobobolo said in an apologetic tone. "Most popular thing not on the menu." "Listen to her," Taylor said. "Please, a child's life depends on it. Only Grobobolo can save." "Those are lies," Liviana cried, raising her guar. "First the creature, and then I find the Master Oathbreaker. Then Dick Nine can return." "I think not," Taylor stepped forward. "Not Barry. Not ever. You are part of the Not Barry Society," Liviana said. "It can't be." "Until my master returns," Taylor said, raising her weapon. "I am the NBS. "Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen, or whatever you prefer to identify as," the voice of an owl said over the crowd. Konigsberg jumped up and down on the counter near the register, his leg now free from pain. "You don't have to go home, but trust me, you don't want to stay here." "Konigsberg, you should be delivering mail," Liviana said. "No, I'm a free owl. You lazy rich people need to learn to do your own work," Konigsberg shouted. People fled the shop. Chairs and tables were overturned in the process. Taylor stood with the guar readied in front of the counter. Liviana took a step towards the creature. "This guar is strong enough to do what everybody else's couldn't," Liviana said. "I will destroy you if you harm him," Taylor said. "I have a mission, an oath to a little girl, and to my best half. to Luni. The pit of Luni's stomach sank. "Champion," Liviana said, "you can't allow this. You are the symbol of hope and truth. She is the bad guy. How can you support this?" "Well, duh, she's the bad guy," Luni said. "We're all the bad guys. If you think you're the hero in the story of life, you're delusional. You have to root yourself and drink from streams of running water. Dick Nine is a snake. The High Wizard wants to be left alone with his cats. Let it dude have some peace. Be part of the right thing. It feels good, even if it's hard. Come on, Liviana, see our side of this." Before she could answer, people with raised torches approached from outside. Mr. Whitaker led the line of angry Whitlocks. "You've been watching us suffer in pain for years," a woman screamed. "You couldn't help the sick because of what? You're a secret group who owns a lot of money? Not anymore." The crowd joined in and shouted, "No more!" "They could have saved my daughter," Mr. Whitaker yelled, "but they were too selfish to do anything about it. I told you. I told everyone." Mr. Whitaker entered the shop and threw down his torch. "Burn it. All of it." People threw their torches inside the shop. The doors to the upstairs apartment opened. A group of people led by Callie made their way down the stairs. Braylon's jaw dropped. "What have you done to my place?" she yelled. "How can Luni win champion? She shouldn't have even been there. I need this. I can't keep paying fines to the council. Callie rambled on. Liviana led a magic bolt towards the creature. Callie, Braylon, and the others scrambled to find vegetable weapons. The creature ducked in the nick of time to stay hiding low behind the counter. Luni stood in front of Taylor, but she felt a hand on her shoulder. She looked back, and Taylor shook her head. "It's time," Taylor cried. "Make sure Grobobolopopius lives." Luni wanted to embrace Kimama so much in that moment, but knew she couldn't. She knew that it would be one of her new greatest regrets. Instead, she charged at Liviana, but she felt the hard jab of a radish on her head. She fell to the floor. Taylor dashed to her feet, facing the greater spellcaster. "Why, Kima?" Liviana asked. "I trusted you. I hoped you could be the leader of change, but you have chosen this evil." "If only you could understand," Taylor said. The men charged into the shop with their pitchforks at arm level. "Sorry, champion. You won't get to compete next year. Flabbergiliosis." The magic bolt cracked through the air towards Grobobolopopius. Taylor dove, taking the hit. She stumbled, injured to Luni. With their final breath, she whispered something into her ear and smiled. Within moments, her body disappeared from reality. In her place, the dust formed the body of a little girl with curly brown hair, dressed in a hospital gown. She, now laying atop of Luni, coughed. Grobobolopopius rose from behind the counter. "Bring the girl to me." Flabbergiliosis. Liviana cast a shot at the creature. It struck him in the shoulder. The creature yelled and with great effort made its way towards the girl. "Leave the girl alone, you beast," Liviana shouted. "Don't hurt her." "Itis!" screamed Mr. Whitaker. "Put out the flames! Everyone stop! Itis!" Grobobolopopius crossed in front of the sick child, being held on by Luni with all of her strength. Luni held the girl up to the creature. "Please save her," Luni said. "Please." The girl was heavy in her arms, but she didn't care. She held her as far and as high as she could. Grobobolopopius's mouth began to open. "Flabbergiliosis!" Liviana sent another shot. "No!" a man shouted, leaping. Mr. Whitaker fell to the floor with a magic wound to his chest. Grobobolo swallowed the girl, leaving Luni holding out her hands. "I'll take that," Braylon said, snatching Liviana's radish. She yelled, "Get rid of Viori." Water poured from the rain clouds that formed at the top of the ceiling. The rain put out the flames of all the torches had created. "It hit the child!" Liviana yelled. It charged at the creature. "Wait," Luni said, checking on Mr. Whitaker, who looked hurt, but was breathing and conscious. The creature took a hit from Liviana's hand as it spit something from its mouth. She turned, with her fist still in the air. "Dad," said the little girl, "where am I? What happened to your shoulder?" "How?" Mr. Whitaker said, panting and groaning in pain. "She died. How is she?" "Taylor," Luni said. "Someone who gave themselves more for love than I could. She's healed. She's okay." The little girl ran to her father and threw her arms around him. "I was so scared." "I'll get him to one of our doctors," Liviana said. "It might take more than a lime and a coconut, but they'll figure it out." Luni could not help but stare in the place that Taylor had last laid. But her gaze turned to the man and to the girl, who sat on the floor holding each other, weeping. Hundreds of bells rang out in the rain. Laughter cried out. A little man with gray hair and a large, goofy hat ran into the shop, his arms outstretched, holding a giant pumpkin. Black cats ran around his feet, playing with each other and rolling about. "Guess who has returned? The people of Whispers Bay. I am here to stay. I am the panic in the winds. Rovana, the High Wizard." "Cut it, Rovi," Luni said. She turned to Liviana. "You see now? Barry Dick Nine is a liar, and not a great person." Liviana closed her eyes and turned to the creature. "How dare you call me Rovi?" the High Wizard said. "That's what your mother called you," Luni said. "I can't see you as anything else. You should call her now that you're back. She said she needed help with her garden, and that was years ago." "Why are you talking to me like you know me?" the High Wizard said. Luni chuckled. "You should label your potions better." "You mean I can leave and live with my cats?" the man said. Liviana nodded. "Really? This is great. I don't know why this woman knows everything about me, but if you're cool with it, and if everyone's gonna leave, then I'm gonna start opening cans of tuna." "Go ahead," Luni said. "Go be free." The High Wizard raised his hands in victory and walked away, with his army of black cats with bells following him down the 101. Taylor was gone, and Luni's heart was gone. But she looked at the girl, still clinging to her father. "Luni," the little girl cried, throwing down the printed magazine with the headline, "Dead Girl Appears Alive and Cancer-Free 5 Years Later." On the cover, Idra's arms are hung around Luni, who is smiling. While uncomfortable, she looks genuinely happy. "The shop is opening in 10 minutes, and Mr. Fingerhopper is going to need that brew, or he's going to complain again," the girl said. Luni finished her toast at the sink in the apartment above the tea shop. Now with her belongings. As soon as Braylon heard someone else wanted to run the place, she ran out the door and threw Luni the keys. Something about the store brought a strange joy to Luni. And now she, with her vast knowledge of magic, was more qualified to handle special items. So Braylon left to hunt Brodorka-Fonkers. Luni had asked what a Brodorka-Vonker was, but she was told it was best not to know. As long as they were gone, the world would be a better place. "Can I open the doors?" Idris said, tugging at what she had decided was her work uniform of brown pants and a red shirt. "Remember, we're closing an hour early to get Dad from the magic hospital. And Grobobolo Popkus wants to break the sing to the flowers after his lunch at the cancer ward, or something, today and Thursday. I'm on it, Itis, Luni said. As long as you want to work, and you do your homeschool stuff, until the schools accept that you are alive. The girl nodded. Can I ask you something? Personal? Luni said yes as she placed the plate of leftover toast crumbs in the empty sink. Where did you put her statue? Taylor's somewhere safe, Luni said, until I see her again. I know I want to see her again, but can you please put on a jacket? I don't want you getting a cold and, in this weather. Fine, the girl said, opening the closet door and putting on the first random thing she could find. Yay! A zipper cried. Maybe something that's warmer than the raincoat of emotional whatever you are there, buddy. The zipper laughed as the girl put the raincoat back on the hanger. On second thought, I'll get something out of my closet, Luni said. I need to get rid of everything in that one. The girl ran into the bedroom and looked through the closet. She picked one and threw it on. Is this better? It's fake leather. Luni turned. She was not prepared to see the girl standing in Taylor's jacket, one she had worn often in high school. The girl smiled, while crushed, sad, and hopeless. Something made Luni smile back. That looks good on you, Luni said. Fantastic. Taylor had such a good heart. I see why she liked you. From outside, a loudspeaker chirp. A man belted and crooned a romantic tune with the words, Luni, I'm so sorry, I need you in my life. Itis and Luni ran to the kitchen window. A mob of dancers pranced around the singer with a black suit and a shiny glove in his left hand. The man's voice drifted on and off key, missing the beat and sounding like the last act in a karaoke bar. I need you, the man belted. Who is that loser? The girl asked. Luni rolled her eyes before running downstairs. Kevin. Cars honked at the dancers who blocked the traffic along the 101. Drivers yelled obscenities and held up not-so-nice finger gestures at the obvious tourist. Luni stormed out of the shop, letting Mr. Fingerhopper slip in behind her. Itis made his tea while Luni approached her ex. I need you. Please marry me, he crooned. I made a mistake. Luni felt like screaming. Kevin, that doesn't even rhyme. You know, people singing makes me uncomfortable, right? What are you doing? How much did you pay for this? The hunk of a man fell to one knee in front of Luni and pulled a ring from his pocket, one that still had a price sticker printed at the top. He spoke with hope. Please, Luni, make me the happiest man alive. No, Kevin, Luni said. I don't think so. I only drink from rushing waters now. I'm sorry you paid all that money for this, but please get off the road before the police arrest you all. Police lights flashed. Dancers on the street scattered in all directions. Police officers ran after them, some getting tackles, others being chased down to the sands of the shores below. The last Luni saw of Kevin was him trying to jump a fence between two buildings. He fell face first on the other side. Okay, everyone, Luni said, waving the traffic on. People gathered around the shop wearing not a magic tea shop, wink wink, shirts and hats. She looked out at the gathering crowd, some already taking out their wallets. Taylor should be here, she thought. And she was right. She was not there to join her. She had not the time long enough to experience that with her. But the memories were forever in her mind, not only her own, but of those of the High Wizard with her. Luni took a sip of the bottle of something marked, Please do not drink. Store's open, come in, Luni said. While she walked to the counter to prepare the second order of the day, a memory appeared. By now she knew how to control it, and she knew to work quietly and remember. The memory brought a tear to her eyes. There she and Taylor were, laying under the tree in the park. I don't want to leave you, Taylor had thought. Please let this end some other way. I don't want to leave you here without me. But I have to. And there, remembering half numb yet half hopeful, somehow she had found a spark in life, a purpose she had learned to give to herself as well as to others. So, handing a small coffee to a fidgeting customer, she said, "Here you go." "This is the special order, right?" the pale man said. "If I don't get it, I start thirsting for blood." "Yes, it's a pumpkin spice brew," Ida said, stringing a cup of tea with 4 sugars. "That'll calm your thirst for blood for a year. Have a good day." The man sighed, relieved. Luni looked outside. In the flower beds, flowers had sprouted as tall as the window overnight. She smiled. "Volunteers," Luni said, still looking out to the window. "What? Who's volunteering? The owl's pretty busy," the girl said while making another pot of coffee already. "No," Luni said. "The yellow flowers outside by the sidewalk. Marigolds. They aren't supposed to be there." "Are they weeds?" the girl asked. "Want me to cut them down?" "No," Luni said. "They aren't weeds. They remind me of Taylor." The memory of them faded, and she paused for a moment to wash some dishes. The girl laughed as she worked the hot water machine. "I get to see my dad today," the girl said. "Be careful," Luni said. There, in her memories that live forever, was a window into Luni's happiness. A place she could visit when she felt sad or lonely, like a song she could sing that gave her hope. Though increasing, she had these sorts of heavy days disappear as she learned to live with the grief. In some ways she felt guilty for feeling so fulfilled for something so horrible in her past, her loss. She learned to see this as life as she deserves. And though life was not easy for her, she learned to enjoy the day. Though she felt an emptiness that no one could ever fill in her soul, she had found a way to live in forever. One that she and Taylor had created together. "I'll see you again someday, my marigold," Luni said. The end. Thank you so much for listening. This has taken a long time for me to write, and I am so delighted in how weird and frankly how cute this story is. This is definitely a candidate, I think, for something to write more of someday, even though it's going to be a challenge. But I also want to thank everyone who helped with this project. Oh my gosh, I am so indebted to you, especially Moryssa. Check out the adopted artist of the podcast. Her artwork is amazing, and I don't know if you understand how hard it is to paint an ocean scenery thing. Super hard. She did a fantastic job. Go check it out. Her link's on my website at lookingforcows.com. And don't forget to check out lookingforcows.com if you haven't done so already. It's your chance to donate or to listen to anything from the podcast or read any of the transcripts from any of the shows, so go check it. Until then, good luck looking for cows out there.